Hi, this is Randy Poole for our event shadowing presentation. And for my event, I chose to participate in the Easter musical Hope Lives at Redemption Church. This was directed by Pastor Chris Belfils here in my hometown and at my home church. This is Pastor Chris next to me. Pastor Chris serves as the worship and fine arts pastor at Redemption Church. She has served in that role for just under 4 years now, and this would be her second time doing an Easter production or Easter musical drama at this church. And so it was a joy to be able to connect with her and see all of the different details that went into this production, both the behind the scenes for the last few weeks, as well as leading into the opening night last night that I got to attend. This musical, somewhat typical for Easter, it was a musical narrating the life of Jesus from his birth through his crucifixion and resurrection. And so here we find a scene of Jesus's birth. I love the costume designs, the detail that went into the setting, the props that were used, and the makeup artists that were used. Really, there was a lot of time, energy, and thought that went into putting this event together and making it really engaging for the audience, so that it was well done. I was impressed to discover that the musical operated on a budget of about $12,000. I thought that this was a really frugal budget for the production level. These costs included the makeup kits that were ordered from Hollywood, some of the costume design, props like baby Jesus, or other clothing that was ordered in from professional suppliers, the sound and the lighting crew that had to be hired to take on the extra effects that we typically wouldn't use on a given Sunday morning. And so here you find Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist. One of the things that really stands out to me is the amount of detail that goes into the planning, preparation, and rehearsal of a production or a musical like this one. And so I know that Pastor Chris began writing this play, this production, last fall. That was something else that really stood out to me, is that this was not a pre-purchased, pre-planned musical, but rather Pastor Chris is the one that developed this and has put together the different pieces. So as she worked on that throughout the fall, she then began casting members over the Christmas season, looking for different people to fill those roles. And then in January, they started rehearsing lines, began practicing songs and things like that, and putting all of those pieces together. And so the cast included nearly 30 individuals who all played different roles, whether that was young Jesus and old Jesus, baby Jesus and on up, or different disciples. Here we see the woman caught in adultery, and so a lot of different people there. It also included 4 technicians for lighting, media person, sound person, facilities safety team, cleanup crew, nursery workers, and the like. And so a lot of different people included in that event. Some of my observations were the lighting, musical, and posture cues for transitions from one scene to another, and just how do you keep all of that organized, wearing headsets so that people could communicate back and forth to each other. They also had a TV set up, projecting the recorded production or musical so that different people could see where they're at and follow along. One of the other things that really stood out to me was audience focused performance, and so they seemed to be really engaging with everything. You had the cast members from the platform engaging audience members, including them in dialogue, as well as encouraging them to sing if it was a familiar worship song, going around and touching people. And so it really created this atmosphere where people felt engaged and a part of the production. And the detail to the atmosphere and staging from the moment that you walked in, with the lighting, with the sound, with the visual, you really felt like you stepped into this scene and you were a part of the production that was taking place. And so I thought there was a lot of attention given to what is it like for an audience or a participant member to walk into the auditorium, stepping into that. So here we have the crucifixion and followed by the resurrection, and I really enjoyed is that's the climax of Jesus's crucifixion story. This production opening night was the climax of all the work that's been put in for several months beforehand, in which I was a part of. I got to serve on a team that put together some of the media stuff, the video things, and also doing the narrations that were pre-recorded for some of the parts, and sitting in on staff meetings that talked about budget planning, how do we advertise, how do we invite people, how do we encourage, and just seeing the recruitment of volunteers. And so it was a privilege to be able to observe many of the working details prior to the development of the musical itself. And so this was the event that I shadowed. I plan on meeting with Pastor Chris in a week and a half after she returns from vacation and have some follow-up conversation about putting together an event like this. But photo credit and presentation by Randy Poole for our event management class. Thanks for watching.